Hello. Week 2. It's the Jocks and Jills podcast, episode 2, coming at you. Julia Teixeira and Tessa Bonham. First of all, Tess, what a week it's been. Some hype in the league itself, of course. We've had 7 games since we last got to talk to you guys. But
wild week 4.
It was a wild week 4, but we had a wild kind of weekend. We've had a wild couple days since we were able to actually put this thing out into the universe, get some excitement going on social media, get some excitement going with a launch party beyond our wildest dreams. I cannot believe Friday night was a thing. We got to have so many people out, some brands that are really awesome got to help us out. Molson, San Remo Bakery. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Red Bull as well. They provided the space. They provided us enough Red Bulls that we were moving and grooving all night
I haven't
long.
slept yet.
It was a sick night.
Is that awesome.
The truth? I actually believe that.
San Remo Bakery, hands down. There is no bakery in the entire world. You can't convince me that is better than that place. I have eaten more donuts than I have in the entire first part of my life than I have in the past 7 days. And their sandwiches are ridiculous. If you're ever in Toronto, anybody that's not from here or that comes to Toronto to watch a game of any sort, you got to stop at San Remo in Etobicoke. You will be thanking us. This place is legit.
Yeah, sweet family-run place, amazing family, amazing sandwiches, amazing pizza, amazing food. Another person we have to shout out is Tori from – sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, would love to give Tori some love. Took the words right out of my mouth. Tori
is the best. She made the whole launch party happen for us. She pulled together an amazing event in a matter of 3 days because we are who we are. We heard the words launch party and we were like, yeah, let's do it, even though we're launching on Monday.
Yeah. We put it together in 2 days. But you want to know why I know our launch party was great? It was because we had a party crasher.
That is absolutely the indicator of a perfect party.
Yeah, you would come over and you're like, hey, is that your friend? And I was like, no, that guy definitely looks like one of your friends, not my friends. And you're like, no, I don't even know that guy. I'm like, that guy is drinking our drinks and eating our food.
You and I was like, oh, that's one of Tessa's Sudbury goons, 100%. You look over and you're like, yeah, that's one of Julia's
from Thunder Bay
buddies. Don't mind them. Meanwhile, it was just a random Liberty Village miscreant that came and hung out. But to your point, it's not a launch party without some sort of party crasher.
Yeah, and it was a good party because he was taking notes. He had a notepad and he was writing things down. So
yeah, he was serious.
Like,
and you know what?
When I go to San Remo, this is going to be my order. That's probably what he was writing down.
Yeah, we had our notepads out this week too, Tess. Your earlier point, crazy week around the PWHL. Actually, you had a story you wanted to get to first. What was your weekend like?
I had a pretty good weekend. My kids had a birthday party they went to, which was awesome. 3 of the 7 games though went to overtime this week. Did you know that? And some of the players were playing in back-to-backs after playing overtime. Which, I mean, look, when you play in the WCHA, that's just what you do. But for a player that one would consider an old dog, like a Breanne Jenner or somebody like that, who's now at the not that she's old by any means, because I am older than her, but when you're at the older end of the spectrum, all of a sudden it's like, hooey, that was a very quick turnaround. But the week was awesome. I loved watching all of the games. Our guest is awesome. I don't even want to call her our second guest because this is 2 episodes on a Monday that we're dropping, and she is quite literally a baller. She played basketball.
Yeah, she's the coolest. Oh,
and I want to ask her about her jump shot, if she still plays. I talked to a couple of her teammates and they're like, nah, she doesn't have it. And I don't believe it. I don't believe it because she's such a stud in hockey. And I want to know when she comes to town if I could play her in Pop-A-Shot, quite frankly. I'm a really good Pop-A-Shot player.
Okay, there we go. Do you have a Pop-A-Shot?
Buddy, no, actually. That might be on the list for Santa. I've taken my Pop-A-Shot skills from around the world, and there's only one time where things have gone wrong, and it was in Cologne, Germany, at the Men's World Hockey Championship. There was this bar. It was basically like a Dave & Buster's, but it was like a legit grungy bar. And there was 2 Pop-A-Shot machines with one of those claw machines that comes down and picks up toys or whatever. And so myself, our producer, Kevin Pratt, and then Shane Knighty, who now works for the Vegas Golden Knights. He was doing color commentary there. We all went out. We were having some drinks, and I had put my cup of beer on the machine to the left of us, and all 3 of us were shooting, trying to crush this record that had been set. Kevin was a basketball player, so he was draining everything. Shane and I are hockey players pretending like we're good, shooting behind him.
Right.
And randomly, like as the thing was winding down, I was like, for the win. And I just like hucked up a ball and it like bounced off of the rim and came out of the play area and landed like right on my glass on the side. So it broke the glass in like a perfect peak. And as the ball went out, Shane...
A shank.
Basically a shank. Nighty went to go grab it and ended up dicing his entire hand open. And he was like, ow.
No.
And then we look around and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was like a murder scene. There was blood. I'm going to put pictures up on this episode. There was blood everywhere. We had to go to a German
hospital. You could put those pictures up.
It's worth it. We went to the bar. I'm like, hey, my friend's bleeding. Can I get a napkin? He handed me like paper towels or anything. He handed me like this gnarly brown bar cloth. I'm like, this isn't going to do. We've got an open wound. He was like, get out. I'm like, I will after you give me the paper towel. So we wrapped his hand. It was like immediately red in paper towel. I was like gripping his arm, trying to cut off circulation. We're in a taxi on the way to the... Anyways, we had to tell our boss, who is one of my favorite bosses of all time, Paul Graham. This guy's a legend. And look, I'm known to get in a little bit of trouble, as is Shane, as is Kevin. And so we're like,
yeah,
he's not going to believe this because it sounds too stupid and made up. And between the three of us, he's going to think that we got in a bar fight or something. Lo and behold, we told him and he was like, you guys, this is pure stupidity. And we're like, no, we swear to God, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah.
He wouldn't have been mad. He just would have been disappointed. And that might have been
He was just like, you guys, man, I can't leave you anywhere for 5 minutes. Anyways, Nides gets it stitched up or whatever. And they're like, you might need, you might lose function in some of your hands because you might have nipped some tendons and stuff. Anyways, he turned out to be okay. He's got a massive scar. If anybody ever sees him in Vegas, have a look-see and ask him about his Papa Shot days because they were ended right there and then. And his wife was even like, you idiot. Like, if she doesn't believe you, please have her call me. It's kind of my fault. Anyways, that's my Papa Shot story. With that, I want to ask our guest about it because our guest is awesome and it's Taylor Heise. She's a 1B guest because she's first overall pick, scored the first goal for Minnesota. Like, this kid was just built to be a superstar and I love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah. The moment we saw her on the world stage for the first time in Denmark, she had her coming out party. She won MVP of that tournament. And everyone was like, okay, welcome to the show, Taylor Heise. And she's just been...
There's a reason for that,
up
too.
in the ante ever since.
We're going to get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we have her on, let's go around the week at just kind of what's caught our eye over the past 7 or so days in the PWHL.
Bring your green hat, Julia. Let's go streaking. Because there are some teams that are streaking in the right direction. Boston, for instance, they're on a 2-game heater, thanks to Alina Müller. She got 4 points, a goal and 3 assists in those 2 wins. Not to mention, she's riding a 4-game point streak. She got 8 points, 2 goals, 6 assists. 3rd overall pick. Great pickup, Boston. She's going to be wild. You know what? She's going to challenge Carp for top point getter in the league. This is going to be a battle. If Carp can not get completely run down through the rivalry series week and actually, catch her breath, get her footing, get some rest, we're a third of the way through the season and they're neck and neck.
Yeah, both of them have been awesome this year, but Müller, that kind of connection she has going right now with Lauren Gable, we talked a little bit about it on the earlier podcast.
We should get both
what they
of them
have
on.
going is special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because,
you're right.
I know Alina speaks good English. Obviously, she went to Northeastern, but I wonder if she's teaching, Gable any Swiss German and what dialect of German, because I know there's 3 different ones there. Also French.
Yeah. But, you know what? And mentioning that, I saw that MASH posted a video this weekend, a PWHL Ottawa team bus TikTok, and they were all going around just because Ottawa has so much diversity on their team, and she would show a picture and a bunch of the girls would all call it different things. So it was a photo of a semi truck and all the Euros called it just a truck. all the Canadians were calling it a
18-wheeler?
semi, and the Americans were calling it, either an 18-wheeler or 16-wheeler. So everybody was calling something different. So it's kind of fun on these rosters. We're so used to seeing women play just kind of on their national teams. So it's so cool to see them in this setting.
And they're all learning each other's swear words. Like, that's just the first things you
Oh,
learn.
yeah.
Right?
100%. Yeah. That's number one.
Minnesota, though, streaking as well. They got points in every game except one this year. Minnesota is just a beast. They lost to Montreal on Wednesday 2-1. Hensley was in net, and that was her one loss of the season. That's crazy. She's crushing it.
Yeah, yeah.
How about
and a
Ottawa
couple
and
teams
New York? Not on the right end of the streak, are they?
I know. They're not loving the streak right now. Ottawa was, you said it, like, even though they're not winning games, they're finding a way to pick up points, which is so important in this league.
Yeah.
But Carla's optimistic right now, of course. And you can imagine, like, there's no one you want to go through tough times with.
That's Cribber.
Other than Carla McLeod. Yeah.
But, like, she's optimistic for all the right reasons. Like, they're out shooting people by a lot. They outshot they lost to Boston. They outshot Boston 39-31, and they were outshot in the first period 12-7. So they came back the last two periods just firing away. They outshot Montreal 44-24. So Carla's like, well, I'm not that good at math. She isn't, but all numbers point to good things happening. Listen, and that's fine. You can fire a bunch of pucks on net, and I agree with her. Yes, it is great, but you need some finish. You can't be firing them all into the breadbasket. So there's that. And then New York also, my team, Abby, man, come on. Yeah. They lost 2 straight, and they're being outshot. They're not producing shots, Julia. They were outshot 30-19.
Do you have a thought on that game last night?
That was a wild game. Okay, so they lost 2-1 in overtime to Minnesota. They got completely outplayed in the third. The third period killed them. They outshot Minnesota 27-15 through the first 2 periods. Tell me you shouldn't have. Yeah. But and that's the strength of Minnesota is their goaltending and the fact that they do have players like Taylor Heise, Grace Zumwinkle that are out there. We got Zumwinkle that are going to go out there and just score. And albeit, it wasn't either of those two that scored. It was actually a practice player that scored the game winner, which is totally cool. We're going to get to that story in a minute. But
pretty cool, eh?
New York. My goodness. New York. I feel
Happy Monday.
Yeah. Yo, you're throwing up shots like that. You got to find the back of the net. 40, like, I don't know. I feel like you're getting almost 40 shots. You got 37 shots. Something's got to give, man, because either you ran into a super hot goalie, which is the case, but like I said,
every goalie in this league is going to be hot, so you got to find ways to score. Like that's just
and I'm not telling anybody to run goalies by any means, but I used to always accidentally on purpose lose an edge if that were the case when I was playing for the Lady Wolves, because you got to throw them off, not to hurt them or end their career. It's just a little bump, a little nudge. Oh, sorry. So that next time people are coming into the net, full tilt, they're probably gonna be thinking twice about things.
The Sudbury School of Hard Knocks, baby.
Shorzy.
Absolutely. All right.
Let's move
Couple
on to
players
getting off the
schneid this week.
I know. Gosh. It's
so hilarious because both these podcasts are going to come out on the same day. And you and I were texting one another laughing because in our first, I don't know, we taped it about a week ago. So I don't remember off the top of my head right now because you guys are going to listen to it back to back. But I know we talked about the fact that Hilary Knight didn't have a goal.
And neither of us were worried.
5 games in the PWHL. No, that's a good part about it. We can't get like radioed. We didn't say anything ridiculous about Hilary Knight because Hilary Knight is inevitable. She was coming.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The longer she was going without scoring, the more worried the entire league was getting. They're like, oh man, this is like brewing up to be a perfect storm. When you're watching the Weather Network, they're like, Hurricane Matilda is in the middle of wherever and it's coming in hot. And you're just sitting there watching it like, oh man, that was Hilary Knight. Now look, it wasn't a beautiful goal by any means, but that doesn't matter. The floodgates are officially kicked wide.
Yep.
Watch out, PWHL. I mean, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for the league because it's what the league and what she needs as well. And I mean, it's not like the scary thing is it's not like Boston really needed her to be putting up points. They've been keeping their head above water.
They've been chugging along.
They're sitting in third. They got 10 points so far.
Yeah. So it was just a welcomed addition, and it was inevitable. She was coming. Night of our launch party, Toronto gets its first win on home ice over New York. It was Troy Ryan's birthday, so nice little B-Day gift for the coach.
I wonder if he put money up on the block.
I don't know. I'd love to see it because I always know Troy in such a formal setting. Like I always see him at World Championships. I see him at PWHL games. He just from the way the girls like he could let it fly a little bit. I'd be interested to see him in a little bit more of a let your hair down setting.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
He's got a
like him.
He's got a wild past,
Yeah.
But I always just consider him just a little vanilla, like a guy that doesn't like to, create a wave or a ripple in the water by any means. That's fine. And I feel like if he didn't do that, obviously, I would assume Blair Turnbull, the captain, would be like, guys, we're doing this. We're doing this for the coach.
Yeah.
Speaking of Blair Turnbull, she got her first point. Hey-oh, get that monkey off your back. Campbell got her first shutout in that game. Glorious. Ottawa finally got their first home win for their fans. Ottawa fans, there you go. Gosh, they deserve that so much.
Yeah,
you gotta get to a game.
Well deserved.
Got to get to a game 100%. In Ottawa.
Yeah, that's on our number one PWHL must-attend list is Ottawa. And you mentioned it earlier, but Abby Boreen, overtime game-winning goal versus New York. She just signed a 10-day contract on Wednesday. We talked about Kat Dubois last week. She was able to kind of do the same situation.
So great.
And this just speaks to like the depth of the league, doesn't it? That former NCAA captain, stud, gets a game winner as soon as she gets in, and she's unable to just get in the lineup regularly just because of how deep this league is.
I know. And the parity in it, I mean, obviously some teams have struggled a little bit to find their footing, but there's been 8 games total so far that have gone to overtime or shootout. Like,
crazy.
And they're all close.
How many games have been 3-2? Like, what a women's hockey score
this
also.
Week? 3-2, 2-1, 2-1, 4-3, 2-1. They're all one. The majority are
those
one.
Those are hockey games, man. Like the league there's so much parity.
I know. I love it. Emily Clark got her first goal as well, which is nice to see. Way to go, Em. Big fan of her, man. I like her. She's awesome. She's always just so happy. She works so hard. You'd be like, Emily, can you go run through that wall? She'll be like, hop and do it. Big smile on her face.
And she does it with a smile. Yeah, she'll be like beating the hell out of somebody in front of the net, and she will have just the biggest grin on her face. It's my favorite thing ever. It's my favorite thing. She's one of my favorite players to watch because of it.
Imagine getting like Dorito glove face washed by her. I don't even know if her gloves smell like the Cool Ranch Dorito gloves, those gnarly ones. But like, imagine that and you're looking at her mad, and she's just smiling at you, so kind, and you're like, "You're making me more mad."
Smile. Yeah, the biggest bluest eyes, and it's like, what the hell? How could you do this? It's so good. Any favorite saves you saw this week, Tess?
Oh my God, Emirates
outstanding goaltender performances. It's hard to even, like I said, it's hard to even pick because
no, it's not.
Okay, and we liked her TikTok this week. Tell me about it.
The save that she made on Laura Stacey. I had the highlights on just quietly while watching, trying to feed my kids. And I was like, oh, and a goal by Stacey. And then I looked back up and Mash had the puck and threw it away. And I was like, did she pull that out of the net? Or what was that? Because she was beat. Laura Stacey came in with speed, cut right across, want to go backhand. And it was like, oh, meanwhile, Mash was like, psych, threw her glove there and snagged it right off the line. I was like, I need to rewind this and watch this 7 times over. Let me tell you, that right there, I was like, save. One of the saves of the year. Hands down. That was glorious. Chuli against Minnesota for Montreal. Chuli steps in. 44 save performance. This kid. She's backing up Desbiens, and it's like, well, all right. Might as well do Desbiens things in net. Unbelievable. Yeah. Minnesota, they're no slouch. We're going to talk to Taylor Heise and find out why. I want to talk to her about that game, actually, and how frustrating that must have been.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just in this league, it's something you got to expect on a night-to-night basis. The goaltenders are all elite. So funny because in the men's game right now, people are like, we will pay a goaltender $1 million to make 2 saves. And in this league, it's like they've got this surplus of really talented netminders.
Yeah. And they're not even really making saves. They're getting points. Mash has got an assist. Hensley got an assist on the game winner against New York on Sunday.
It's so sick.
Get these ladies paid. Anyways.
Yeah, you'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Lots of sick goals this week as well. The Hilary OT winner, to your point, it wasn't like the prettiest thing of all time, but I think some major significance there because it was her first one, and I think it's going to open the floodgates. Abby Boreen's OT winner as well. Yeah. Again, like not a gorgeous goal by any means, but a really sick goal in terms of its significance. Anything else that stands out to you in terms of nice ones this week?
Ella Shelton's power play goal against Minnesota. I was
she's been a monster this year, man. She is so dominant out there.
There was a whole other level of Ella that we are seeing that I'm like, girl, where is this when you play for Team Canada? Like, you're the driver. Right. Drive that bus, you know? And like, I don't know if they've placed her in a certain role or if she just doesn't, if it's an intimidation factor, but like that can't be anymore because you're playing with and among all of them and you're doing these things. Ella, I'm about it. Ella! We got to have Ella on.
So sick.
Laura Stacey, as much as she got robbed by MASH, she got her back.
Oh,
Wicked goal. And I'm also like totally impressed by Teresa Venesova and Maureen Murphy on Montreal. They're tied for the team lead in points with Pooh. Like, sign me up.
Not bad.
That's what I wanted to see. That's what I want to see. These players pushing, making a name for themselves, you know? It's not just the Poohs and the Knights we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's the depth of this league. There's so many stars that are just on the rise right now. We love to see them all. And we're about to talk to one star who's, I think, already solidified herself as a superstar in this game. The moment she stepped onto the world stage, she made a major impact. She won MVP at her first Women's World Championship.
That's crazy.
She's a national champion. She is a world champion. And we're so excited to have her on the Jocks and Jills podcast today. She's an absolute hoot of a time, and we can't wait to chat with her. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Taylor Heise. We're so excited for our second ever interview on the Jocks and Jills podcast. Our interviews all season long on Jocks and Jills are going to be brought to you by Nobis. So thank you so much to Nobis. You guys have the best jackets and you're the best for sponsoring these interviews. So shout out to them for being with us and our first official sponsor all season long. And with that, we're so excited to chat with this person. She is a world champion, a national champion, MVP at the Worlds, the first ever first overall pick for the PWHL, and man, she has all the personality and all the skill to be those things. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only from PWHL Minnesota, Minnesota's finest, Taylor Heise. Couple clicks for her. Taylor, thank you so much for hopping on with us today. We really appreciate it. I know you were traveling late last night. You're coming right off a game, so we appreciate you doing this.
No worries. I'm very, very excited.
She's coming off a back-to-back, Julia. She's white.
Yeah,
we woke her up.
Respect.
Taylor, I'm surprised you're not wearing your infamous sunglasses that all your teammates tell me that.
They're back there. Don't worry. I had them on yesterday. They were putting my hair back. But yeah.
I was told they're an Amazon purchase, and if you wear them, you can't really see through them at all.
No, they're an Amazon purchase. So they're not Polaroids, but for $10, I think they do the job.
I love that. Tell me a little bit about the weekend.
Yeah, it was awesome. Oh, yeah. So, it was awesome. I think I haven't done a back-to-back since college, and I feel like I'm someone that shouldn't complain because that was literally last year for me. But I know some ladies haven't done back-to-backs in a long time. Yeah. So for me, this weekend it was important, to work my hardest, but to also know that we have 2 games right in a row. Got to keep my body straight. We had a lot of travel in between. Took buses and stuff like that. So it's always nice to make sure you get your sleep in or as much as you possibly can. I think we got to Boston, which is a great area. We love that. We've already been there twice. So it was awesome. But I think in the game, obviously didn't go our way at the end of the day. But I think, we said we played 45 out of the 60 minutes and still came out with an OT. So I think, we definitely wanted to be better. We need to keep focusing on our start. But we knew that coming into New York, they were going to be coming out on a hot start too. So we wanted to focus on that and then ended up, finishing it off in overtime yesterday. So it's very fun.
You mentioned Boston. Obviously, you guys didn't spend much time there because you had to get right out and go to New York. But do you guys run amok in that city? It's a good city.
It's a really fun city. I have some friends from there, one of which plays on New York. So I told her this summer I'm for sure coming out there, because the last time I was out there was Beantown when I was like 15 or 16. So
is Minnesota the team that's like all biz on the road? Like you guys aren't visiting the local watering hole or anything like that?
We really haven't stayed somewhere long enough for us to truly get a good grasp of that. That's fair. Think being the only Midwest team, we do a lot of travel, and we try to, get ourselves in and out quickly. But I know a lot of us, like, we love hanging out with each other. Like, we'll go and sit downstairs, play cards, or like at the airport, we were sitting at Shake Shack yesterday. Some people were playing cards. Some of us were just hanging out. Like, I feel like we do a really good job of not having like cliques of people, especially like age-wise or friend-wise group. Like, everyone gets along, and it's just always a fun time. Like, we were laughing. The thing we talked about yesterday was we were seeing who on our team matched up with an animal. So we matched everyone up with an animal, and we sat there and we talked about that for like a good hour. So that takes some of the time. I'm a black cat. We kind of started it because me and Grace Zomico, my buddy, she's a golden retriever. I'm a black cat. She sugarcoats things. I don't. So
those are the best relationships.
Yes.
Every golden retriever needs a black cat, because I'm the black cat in my relationship, and my boyfriend's the golden retriever. You need one of each.
You do. That's the thing. Good. And we've talked about it because she's not all on TikTok, but I am. So I told her this one day, and she almost peed her pants. So we've been going at that ever since.
Julia, her tell me a little bit. I'm about it.
My black cat is locked up in the room back there because he can't be trusted during recordings. But
she's a cat lady.
That's fair.
It's okay. Everyone needs a little cat in their life. Tell me a little bit about like the road dynamic. Like, who is the teammate who packs too much for the road? Who is the teammate that shows up with 2 t-shirts and a pair of Gitch? Who is the teammate that is always late for the bus? Like, what is the road dynamic on Minnesota?
Yeah. These are great questions. I love it. For me, I have a bigger carry-on. It fits, but I do really enjoy bringing my pillow and sometimes a blanket. So I'm definitely an overpacker. I have to be comfortable, though. Like, it's a necessity for me. If I don't sleep well, it's not going to be a happy camper Taylor the next day. Right. We have so many, like, foreigners that pack slim to nothing. Their carry-on is the size of, like you can put your hand in your hands, like, farther apart width-wise than it. So we have Abby Cook. Michelle Cava is the one that, like, packs damn near nothing. And then
Thunder Bay's finest. We got to give her some love for that.
Yes.
She's a simple girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have our goalie, Amanda Levier, packs in a backpack.
She literally has a goalie. She gets a free pass. She's a goalie. They get a free pass. They're strange. I love them. I love them to death. They're strange.
We look at her and we're like, "Where's your bag?" And she's like, "I have it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, I go, "Okay, whatever." And then Denisa Krasova, she packs in a duffel that fits in her hockey bag, so she never has to carry anything around.
True pro. Listen, awesome. I got a bone to pick with you too. We're going to talk Ohio State in a minute, but like at Ohio State, we traveled a lot, and that's what we did. You packed a bag that went in your bag.
Duffel.
Always.
Yeah. They still do that now. I'm pretty sure some of my friends on the team have that, and they still do that. So
that's my
I
bone
would say
to pick with
we
you.
don't have anyone that's late. Like, I feel like we all have anxiety that we're going to be late. And it makes me upset sometimes because I'll get to the parking garage 30 minutes before the bus leaves, and I already have my bag packed. Like, I don't need to be there at that time. That's just the time that I show up. And everyone's there. I'm like, guys,
no one's even chirp.
What are we doing? What are we doing this morning? Like, we don't have to be there that early.
Is it the Darwitz effect?
Go ahead.
You know, it's Natalie Darwitz. Like, you don't look around.
Yeah, that's very true, for one. But two, I feel like people are just like, okay, it's the morning, and we have a lot of early risers. So people are like, well, we might as well just go. And I'm like, I have other things to do.
Yeah, like sleep.
Like, I like sleep or make breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. Like, I'll have that 3 meals out of 3 if I could. So, nice. But yeah, I get there, and I'm looking at people. I'm like, guys, what are we doing? Every time I look at them, I'm like, what have you done today? They're like, well, we came here and we took a walk. We wanted to go to Starbucks. And I'm like, oh, gosh.
What's your breakfast order? What's your go-to? And are you bacon or breakfast sausage?
That's a good question. I like to make my own. So I have a breakfast skillet, and I'll do pancakes on one side, eggs. And then I either do bacon or sausage. It kind of just depends. And if I'm going to go out, it'll be a bacon, egg, and cheese from Brugger's.
Nice.
What?
Brugger's. Have you not heard of that?
No.
No, it's a Minnesota delicacy. It's great.
All right. Brugers.
I thought you were kind of honorary Minnesota, Tessa. I thought you would know Brugers.
Buddy,
I feel honorary Minnesota sometimes because I'm from Thunder Bay too. So it's like right on the border, hung out in Grand Marais a lot. I love Minnesota. I played all my hockey kind of in the Twin Cities area. I love
It's a lovely area.
It's nice there. It's
a
love lovely area.
I lived with 3 of them, and you guys are all like Minnesota crazy. One of my roommates had a North Stars, a bright green in the color. Her entire wall was a mural of that. Katie Sershin. Krista Scarter was my roommate from day one. Lake Elmo. She went to Minnetonka. Is that the school?
That's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Is that right? I don't know. I may have made that up. Anyways, her and I were roommates day one at Ohio State. And I remember the first Christmas we went home, my mom's like, you sound like a Minnesotan. And I was like, oh, what? And then she texted me. She's like, my mom just told me I sounded Canadian. I'm like, we're rubbing off on each other. Anyways, love me some Minnesotans. But that's my question for you. And that's my beef, man. You could have went obviously anywhere. Ohio State was on your list. What the heck? I know. Is it because you're from Minnesota and you're big, you're tight with your family? Come on, man. Buckeyes?
No. Tough. I did have to wear a Buckeyes jersey this year, though. I can't lie to you.
I saw that. Who was that bet even with?
Liz Sheppers and Claire DeGeorge. So then me and Kelly Panic lost. We lost embarrassingly bad. I saw Abby Murphy the next day at our game, and I go, did you see what you made me do? Did you see what I had to do today because of you? And she goes, dude, I'm so sorry. She apologized like 4 times. I go, it's fine. It's whatever. Yeah. I go, I would rather put on an Ohio State jersey than a Wisconsin jersey. So that's just how it is. But no, I would say for me, like college-wise, I obviously love my family. I'm a homebody, but I also am very independent. So I think I could have gone anywhere and been just fine. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I would love to have my parents be able to watch every game. But I think, Minnesota had the culture that I wanted. Coaches didn't just tell me that I was going to play. They're like, you're going to sit and you're going to learn and you're going to figure it out and kind of make your own way. And that's exactly what I've wanted to do. I think starting hockey when my parents knew nothing about it, that kind of was my same vibe. Like, I'm going to learn myself. I'm going to figure it out and make my way. And then Minnesota was nice. I was coached by Joel Johnson, who was coaching at the University of Minnesota at the time, in the World Championships. So I got to be coached by him, and that really helped me to help make a decision. Obviously, didn't make my decision off a coach, but, sometimes you got to look at extenuating circumstances. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Totally. Do you know if you're on Abby Rock's wedding invite list?
Oh, I don't know. She, we've talked about this. She has a list on her phone, and I would love to be on it because it's going to be an absolute riot. I really hope I am. So I'll fingers crossed still that I'm on that. And like not on her bad.
Do people on the team, like, if they're like ever out and they're grabbing a coffee, they're like, I'm going to get one for Abby just to like
keep her on the good side.
Yeah.
I feel like you never ever want to be on her bad side. And I don't think I've ever gotten on that, which is great. So that's awesome. But I know some people that have, and I'm like, bless your soul.
Have you gotten into it with any of your USA kind of teams while playing against them in the PWHL yet?
No. It was funny because I love to chat it up like at face-offs.
Yeah.
Start the game, and yesterday I was like, Kirby. And she's like, what's up? And we just said hello like in the beginning of the game, and like that makes me happy. She's a great person. And Rocky don't really get too much into that because I feel like sometimes she can get a little like rocky in the sense of like not sure where we're at. So I just say, just give her a good wave and go from there. But no, I feel like, I'm biased, obviously, but I think our USA team, we play very like true to the sport. Like, you're not going to go out of bounds and do things that are illegal. So I don't usually have to get mad or figure anything out with them. I feel like they're great kids. So I'm very honored to be playing with them normally.
I was going to ask, are you okay, Julia? Because you and I texted each other the game against Montreal. I felt like you and Pooh could not have ran into each other more dangerously or hard than you did on more than one occasion. Like, are you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
We were both going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, I have some bruises. It was funny because the one in front of their bench, I literally had to grab her shoulders and I was like, I don't even know if I'm okay. She looked at me and she goes, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know. And I kind of like looked at her because I was like, that was such a hard hit. Everyone stopped talking. That's when I knew it was bad. And then the other one, 50-50, she picked middle. I had picked middle at the time, and I was like, I'm going to send it. Because normally in college, if I were to do that, it's an automatic interference penalty if you're going to stop me in my tracks. So I send it. I'm a big girl. Like, I can take a hit if need be. So I feel like I just went for it. And the other one, that one was a little knee on knee for me. So that one was hard just because I have a bruise on the inside and the outside of my knee from that. But I'm all for the physicality of the game. Like, I mean, obviously within reason, I think the rule book's slightly vague. So I think sometimes things can get slightly out of hand. But I think once we get that under control, it's going to be great.
Okay, I want to ask you about All-Star Weekend now.
Yeah.
I know that you are a really big fan of someone who's going to be there, Tate McRae. You're also, it's hilarious that you're such a big fan of her because you look literally identical to her, which is hilarious. Have you been tipped off as to where she'll be? Like, will you get some FaceTime with Tate McRae? Tell me if anyone has set you up yet.
It's on my dream board. Like, I mean, like,
it has to happen though, right? Like, she's going to be there this weekend.
It has to happen. Some of my teammates, like, we play on Saturday versus Toronto, and some of them are going to fly back with our team that night because we have to go to rivalry like 2 days later. And I was like, no, screw it. I know she's performing that night. I'm staying. My mom's coming, like, and my mom too, like, she doesn't listen to my same music. So when we're in the car, I have to listen to different music. She doesn't like swearing. So it's a whole ordeal. But she was like,
that is so Minnesota
my music?
Mom.
I feel like I have multiple genres just because I, as a kid, had to drive up to the city. So it was an hour and a half up, hour and a half back. So, like, I had got sick of my music immediately. I would say I'm like pop, like anything that's like, I feel like normal for like a teen or like someone in the 20s. And then I like rap, like that's immediately what I'm going for, like for a pregame and stuff like that. So, but then I also love country. So like, Morgan Wallen and then Mitchell Tempany, those are my two favorites, country wise. But, Tate McRae, that's on my like feel good playlist. Like if I'm in the car and I want to like, it's kind of like dark out, you have the vibe going, like I'm always on it. Her newest album, like I know every song. So whatever song she's performing, I am on it.
Can you sing?
You are covered.
No, and I can't, but I can sing in the car when the music's loud. So I feel like that's the only thing that matters.
So everybody
can sing in the car.
If we asked anyone else, would they say you're a good singer?
No, absolutely not. My best friend who lived right next, I've lived with her for like the past 5 years. I live by myself now, but when I was in college, she would make fun of me all the time because I'd be in the car and I'd be singing lyrics and she'd be like, it's like you don't know the words. And I was like, I swear I do. I sometimes just add in new ones. And she goes, it's embarrassing. Yeah, so awesome. We did the A challenge on TikTok, me and her, like last year, and she was like, you sing in the car and you have no clue what the lyrics are. And like we were going back and forth at each other and it's hilarious.
I love it.
Is there anything else you're looking forward to for All-Star? Like, are you a Jay Beebs fan at all?
Huge Jay Beebs.
I know the hockey itself is very exciting, but nice. Yeah. I love that.
I would say obviously like meeting some really cool people, but just experiencing it for the first time. I feel like it's nice to be young and like in the moment and kind of like have watched all these guys since I was young, and then being able to play with like different people. I haven't played with like a lot of people on my team for All-Star. So that's going to be super fun, and just hanging around like the girls who like have the same, goals and aspirations / like work just as hard as me. It's not like I do that on a daily basis, but this is like pro level. So it'll be super fun with that. But yeah, I am a Justin Bieber fan. A few of my teammates did say that if I do meet him, they'll never talk to me again. So we'll see how that goes. But
see if we can make it happen.
Likely he's going to be hanging around with Austin. Like he's got to be around the city a little bit. He's got to be accessible. Yes. I'm feeling Paris, Texas on Saturday night. That's my Bieber prediction. Downtown Toronto, the bar he's going to be at. That's my official prediction here on the Jocks and Jills podcast.
We'll see. There's a Chipotle near the rink. What's your order when you go there?
I have two. So I like their quesadillas. I feel like that's like a delicacy that you don't get everywhere. You can't even order it in each Chipotle. Like I do online ordering, so kind of just depends. But then I do 4 tacos, 2 chicken, 2 steak. And then I go no rice, no beans. Never been big on that. Guac, pico, corn, cheese, extra cheese, lettuce, and then queso.
Wow, that's a thing of beauty. Have you ever gone to Chipotle with someone who has like an offensive order? Like someone?
Yes, my best friend actually. She has
Tell me.
Chicken, extra white rice, extra sour cream and lettuce.
That's a joke. You can't be serious right now.
And it'll come out and it's just, it looks like it's just sour cream and rice.
Is this a hockey player?
Yes, she's my best friend, Abby Breen. She plays on Team Minnesota with me.
She just scored. Abby.
She just got that goal. That was the pregame meal for that goal. The OT winner was sour cream and cheese at Chipotle.
That is like soupy rice with chicken in the mix.
It's disgusting. And I tell her she's a pharmacy student at the U, so I tell her she'll get Chipotle and me once a week. And I have to order this for her, and I go, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, she's making you go up and order that. You're like, I swear, this is my friend. It's not me.
No, I can online order it. So I just order it for her.
You don't have to look anybody in the face and say that. I know. It's like when somebody does a Starbucks order and they order a Frappuccino at 8 a.m.
Yeah. Wear those sunglasses in. No one knows who you are.
That's incognito. Put those babies on.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
100%.
Are you learning any Czech swear words? We were talking about this.
But
no way.
Denisa is great. Like, she actually kills me. Yesterday when we were talking about what animal people were, I go, you'd be an iguana. You'd be like a lizard because you're kind of like shifty, but like super like fast. And I feel like you're not always like in, like, people don't always know where you are. And she goes, a what? And I go, an iguana. She goes, how do you spell that? And I spell it for her, put it up on her phone, and she goes, never heard of this thing. So like her learning like just it's hilarious.
Like she didn't even have a word for it?
No.
What?
No clue.
I guess only weird North American people have reptiles in cages and stuff. I guess over there, they're like, we're not messing with that. Why bother?
She goes, it's a lizard. And I go, it is a lizard. But iguana is a better word for it. I go, just look it up. But then we have Sue Tapney, and we had her when she scored 2 goals in Ottawa. We were like, we need you to do the speech and finish. And we go, you can say whatever you want, but we want to sit here and listen. So she starts speaking on it. And we have one of our teammates trying to like translate. And they're like, I just scored both goals. Like, I'm winning for this. Like, she's just like, the way she said it was hilarious. But she's speaking so fast. None of us we're all like, what is she saying?
Sounds like you guys are having some fun. I just have questions about the Minnesota State Fair. Have you ever had Luigi fries?
I have not.
Have you had the cookies at the Minnesota State Fair?
Oh, for sure. I've been gone.
Those are my favorite. I think about those. I had them when I was 12. I still they cross my mind in my dreams every now and then.
You got to have them fresh though, because if you bring them home,
I was at the fair. They had like the cookie they had the milk dispensers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys just brought me back to a special place. I haven't thought about this for a while.
It's
awesome. I had a deep fried pickle on a stick and deep fried bacon on a stick.
What's your go-to there?
We usually have to miss it because we go to August Fest, and I miss a lot of it. But if I'm gonna go, I'm like a hot dog. People kick me for this, but I'm like, I'll have a hot dog here and there. I'm like, get a hot dog at the fair. I don't care. It's probably not the best for you, but I'm like, whatever. I'll eat it.
Dog at a fair.
Eat that. I love milk. I always have milk in my fridge, so I'm getting milk for sure with cookies. And then honestly, like when me and my family go, my dad will get one of everything. So, I mean, I'm trying everything whenever we go. So he's crazy. But we're only there for 2 hours. So we're running to each different thing to get to everything because he doesn't want to be there for more than 2 hours or 3 hours. So
that's awesome.
Amazing. I only have one question before we let you go. Can you see my Jill hanging back here?
It's kind of blurry, but yes, I can see it.
Does your Jill look like that, or do you wear shorts?
I wear pants, so like long pants.
So things have changed. Does anybody that you know wear a Jill like that? No way.
Maybe one person.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Thank you for your service. Thank you so much. I don't even know why we didn't start there. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything today.
Who is the one? Is it Kendall?
Is correct.
No, Kendall wears like it's compression. So for her groins, I wear the same thing but in long version. So she wears a shorter version of it. But I think Abby Cook has one kind of like it just looks kind of like we tell it looks ragtag. Like kind of it's blue. Like I just feel like it looks old.
It looks old. Make that the caption. And that is the truth. And that is what we have to hang our heads on today. But you know what, Tessa? Got the job done. And that's all that counts.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. Yeah, 100%.
I'm glad you wear one.
With holes in them.
Yeah, I'm glad you wear one. Abby doesn't even wear one.
Yeah, Abby was saying she doesn't even rock gels. So I guess everybody's doing it different now. Everybody's got their own way.
That's fair.
There she goes. Taylor, we really appreciate you hopping on with us today. That was a really fun chat. Good luck with the rest of the season. Good luck at All-Star. I cannot wait to see the photo that comes out of you and Tate McRae next to one another, because we know it is coming and we need it to come. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Taylor. We appreciate you.
Before we let you go, we know you're big on bakeries. You like Hinish Bakery. Yes. There's a spot, I promise you will not regret. When you're in Toronto, you Google San Remo Bakery and you get out there.
Yeah, you send it to me because I'm there. I made muffins the other night, so I had them ready for when I got home. So I have some today.
The food in Toronto is insane. We got to do a whole food tour, honestly.
I would love that. I'm a foodie at heart. So.
Why isn't your nickname Chef? Like, why don't you have a nickname? Like, you bake.
It's just been like, I feel like people just my last name. Like, people rarely call me by my first name. I really, it's like once in a blue moon type of deal. But yeah, that could be for sure.
I'll plant the seed for some people.
Okay, I like it.
Thank you, Taylor.
The chef herself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Taylor, and thank you again to Novus. Again, they're sponsoring our interviews all season long. They were our first interview to hop aboard here on the Jocks and Jills podcast, so we want to give them lots of love. And she is so funny, Tessa. Like,
I know.
Taylor Heise is just destined for stardom, and she's already reached it.
Built for it. I also never knew you were a Minnesota State Fair lady.
Yeah, the more you and I talk and have conversations, the more that you're going to learn that I'm just like your average redneck white trash trailer park girl. I don't know. Like, every family vacation that I ever we did Disney. I won't lie, as a kid we did Disney, but mostly it was like various trailer parks. So the Memorial Cup is in Saginaw this year. Saginaw, like, not exactly the nicest place in the world, but I'm really excited for that Memorial Cup, and I'm like the only person, and we're staying in a city about 20 minutes outside of Saginaw called Frankenmuth, Michigan. You know where that is?
No,
it's like a German Bavarian town. The whole town is like German Bavarian themed. There's a fried chicken restaurant. And I know you're realizing I know everything about this town already.
Yeah.
And it's because my family very much did go stay at the Yogi Bear trailer park there for a trip when I was younger. And I was happy. So that's, you know what? That's all. You have kids. I don't. That's all the parenting advice I give is that, you know, when I was a kid, all I did was go to trailer parks, and I thought it was luxury vacation. So if you don't tell them, they won't know.
Sounds like we need to take this show on the road this summer, Julia. We're hitting up all the trailer parks. Yogi Bear,
I love
watch out.
Trailer parks. Yogi Bear, Ontario Parks. What's the other one? KOA. If there is a trailer park, I have stayed there.
Totally. KOA.
It's so good. Yeah, but Taylor was awesome. I knew that she'd have all the good anecdotes about her teammates. I will never be over that Chipotle order and the fact that,
oh man, what
it was the pregame meal for that OT winner.
I guess we can't knock it because it fueled the fire and got the
It
W.
fueled the fire.
Not to say that I'm that committed to eat that. That is gnarly. 5-day break for the ladies. Some of them, I should say. Some are going All-Star weekend, but 5-day break in the CBA because following that, there's 3 games, and then the ladies take off for the rivalry series. 3 games: Saskatoon, Regina, and Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exciting stuff. What are you looking forward to when it comes to All-Star weekend? Anything specifically?
Honestly, just the city catching fire. I feel like it's nice when there's things going on. Obviously, traffic-wise, it's brutal, but I don't know. It's nice when there's a buzz and there's stuff happening, you know, especially around the game of hockey because, like, you know, it gave me a lot and it taught me a lot, and I think that, you know, it's come to a part where these ladies are finally getting the notoriety that they deserve, and it's going to be cool to see them perform on that stage yet again.
Yeah, I'm fired up for the Minnesota-Toronto game on Saturday as well. Like, I think that's going to be an awesome game coming off the heels of all the All-Star excitement. You'll have a few of those girls actually in that game. Like, we're going to get to see Taylor Heise in Toronto this week. It's going to be so much hockey that weekend. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be hockey, how they say in Finland.
Hockey.
Yeah.
Hockey. All right. Well, thank you guys. This is the second episode that maybe you're listening to today. So if you've trucked through both of them, we really appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate you guys being along for this endeavor. let us know what you want to see more of this year, more interviews, what chats you want to hear us have. If you guys, maybe we'll bring in like a question segment at some point, but we want to bring you guys what you want to hear. So let us know in the comments, leave a review, subscribe, follow us everywhere at Jocks and Jills. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. I guess it's called X now. We're on TikTok. So find us everywhere. We'll be posting lots of good women's hockey content. And again, we appreciate you guys listening. Thanks again to Nobis for sponsoring our interviews. Thanks again to Molson and San Remo and Red Bull for all the fun at our launch party. And thanks to you guys for
thanks to Eddie.
We'll see you
Thanks
to Eddie.
Yeah, being the DD, lugging everything around. Thanks to Eddie for letting me sleep in this morning. What about
wait,
Instaham?
We haven't done our boyfriend rankings. Yeah, the point this week, it's 2-0 Eddie right now because my poor boyfriend Liam, he couldn't come on Friday night because he had a hockey game. And you know what? If they would have won on Friday night, we might have given him the point, but they lost. And he got his face all mucked up. So it's 2-0 Eddie. We'll try to see if Liam can come back at some point this season.
Mr. Liam.
Poor guy.
Down two.
He's on the come up.
Most dangerous league in hockey. All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you next week.